Well, I am going to tell you about a post today in which the failed former president Donald Trump defecates on the Constitution. Now, hold it. I'm not literally going to show you scat videos, so you don't have to turn away. You don't have to get the kids out of the room yet. Although, if absolutely brutalizing the Constitution and using it like toilet paper is offensive to you, then maybe you do want to get the kids out of the room. Donald Trump, in an absolutely Constitution-destroying rant, demanded for a new 2020 election or to be reinstated as president of the United States under the continued false claim that he is the so-called rightful winner of the 2020 election. Trump exploding on his platform Truth Social.
Truth Central.
Well, call it what you want. Over the Twitter bombshell that flopped into a nothing burger, saying the following, quote, "So with the revelation of the massive and widespread fraud and deception in working closely with big tech companies, the DNC and the Democrat Party, do you throw the presidential election results of 2020 out and declare the rightful winner? Or do you have a new election? A massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution." He's literally saying the Constitution is not the supreme law and framework of the land. He's saying when we decide there are extenuating circumstances, you terminate. This is the word, terminate rules, regulations, and articles. He goes on to say, our great, quote, capital F founders. I don't know what's weirder, that it's with a capital F or that it's in quotes. Both are weird. Our great founders did not want and would not condone capital F false and capital F fraudulent, capital E elections. The Constitution means nothing to them if it's not convenient. This is brutal authoritarianism. It's all meaningless unless it is convenient to them. And there Donald Trump says, I don't know. It just sort of seems like we've got to eliminate or circumvent, better said, the Constitution so that he can somehow end up back in office. Now think for a second of the insanity of the situation. Former president who lost and is again a candidate is saying, maybe just put me back in office. Maybe let's skip me doing 2 years of a Republican primary or a year, however long, year and a half, and then a general election and then having people vote. We can skip all of it. Terminate, as he says, he thinks he's Arnold Schwarzenegger, terminate the Constitution. Maybe just put me back in power. And the most insane part of this is Republicans aren't even going that wild. It should be instantly disqualifying for a candidate for the presidency to say, sometimes we terminate the Constitution. We just terminate it. Now, if you want to have a conversation about, we need a constitutional amendment. Oh, okay. Well, we have a process for that. If you want to have a conversation about, should a document like the Constitution be revised over time in some more general sense, that's a completely legitimate conversation to have. It's not about we can never. I'm not asking to have it both ways, because many of us on the progressive left say a document that is this old, no matter how great the intentions were of those who wrote it, and believe what you believe about that, right? No matter how great the intentions were, no matter how forward-looking they planned to be, at a certain point, we have to be able to say it needs modern context. And, you can argue about whether a few hundred years is enough time, but do we think that the Constitution would be relevant in 500 years, in 1,000 years, in 1,500 years, without significant revision or contextualization? Sure, let's have that conversation. But that's not what Donald Trump is saying. Donald Trump is not saying There are aspects of the Constitution which in general need to be revised, modified, amended, whatever the case may be. Trump is just saying, keep the Constitution the way it is, just ignore it when it comes to me figuring out a way to get back into power. I'm going to give you one example of a Republican who seems like she's not going for this insanity. Unfortunately, for a lot of them, they are going for it. And we're going to get to that probably on tomorrow's program. But here is Alice Stewart. She is a Republican strategist, former Ted Cruz communications director. She doesn't like this. But there are many Republicans who are just kind of like, yeah, I mean, I don't agree, but Trump may be the best choice we have.
As divisive as him. And I hate to inform the former president, the Constitution is not like a spouse. You can't just get rid of it when it no longer suits your purposes. The Constitution is here to protect the rights of all Americans. It is not there to change the past election of a self-serving American. And he is wrong on this. This is absolutely ludicrous. And I guarantee you, Jim, the more you ask conservatives and Republicans about this statement, they will say this is not right. And they're going to separate.
Well, we'll see about that.
Themselves from these kinds of statements.
Yeah, Alice, the Constitution is not like the buffet at Mar-a-Lago. You can't skip past the items that you don't like.
Yeah. Listen, I guess, there's things have become, the standard has become so low. I guess I respect Alice Stewart for saying this, but at the same time, all she's saying is, we have to mean it when we say we respect the Constitution. You can't just ignore it when you just want to you want to circumvent it in order to get back in power. But it is absolutely not true that Republicans are united against this. It should be political suicide to say what Donald Trump said. Terminate the Constitution so that you can get him back in power because of Hunter Biden pictures. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about here. But we're seeing mild criticism from some wings of the Republican Party. And this type of thing, I mean, in 2022, a lot of Republicans ran on the election was stolen, and they didn't do very well. So it's at least possible that some of the mainstream Republican Party is going to be further alienated by this insanity. Any clear-thinking individual who actually cares about the rule of law, even if we believe that the Constitution needs to be amended, updated, changed, whatever, by going through a process, not in a rush, because we've got to terminate it to get somebody back in power, we can do that. We can talk about that. But this type of stuff needs to be rejected.
Everything you do online can be tracked by your ISP, by tech platforms, the government, hackers. Everyone should be using a VPN. Every time you connect to the internet, you turn it on once, you forget about it. It's easy. Many VPNs secretly record your browsing and download history. But our sponsor, Private Internet Access, is the only VPN with the bulletproof commitment to never doing that, because they're the only VPN that has proven their no-log policy multiple times in court. Their systems are also independently audited by Deloitte to verify no logging. Private Internet Access has a next-generation server infrastructure with IP addresses in 83 countries and all 50 U.S. states. It's one of the only VPNs fast enough for streaming video and downloading large files. For instance, Private Internet Access lets me access a bunch of great international soccer I can't otherwise get. VPNs can be very helpful with the upcoming World Cup. And Private Internet Access has a 30-day money-back guarantee, 24/7 customer support, and my audience gets 82% off. That's just $2.11 a month, plus 3 months free. Go to piavpn.com/David. The link is in the podcast notes.